This episode is part of our Australian Pale Ale series. Today's beer is Little Creatures Pale Ale. Hello and welcome to Beer Australia Reviews. Now, as you can see today, we're going to be drinking some Little Creatures Pale Ale. Now, Little Creatures Pale Ale is like one of the original craft beers that was first produced in the early 2000s in Fremantle in Western Australia. Now, Little Creatures Pale Ale, I think, is the one that all of the other breweries try and emulate when they make a craft beer, because it is good. It's one of the originals, and it still retains a lot of the character from when it was first brewed at the Little Creatures brew pub in Fremantle in Western Australia. Now, it's actually the site of a former crocodile hatchery. Now, I don't know whether that was what they called the Little Creatures after the baby crocodiles, or if you have a look on the Little Creatures website, they say it was named after the hobbits. So, I don't know. But the thing I'll tell you about when Little Creatures first opened, I used to go there regularly for in the first month or two after it opened, and one day I'm sitting there at the bar having a pint, as you do, and I get speaking to the guy behind the bar, and it turns out we got talking about beer, as you can imagine, and it turns out he knew about my pub in my local pub in Liverpool, which is called the Ship and Mitre, which often gets voted the best pub in Liverpool by CAMRA, which is the Campaign for Real Ale in the UK. And we got talking about beer, and he said, hey, we've got this new beer that we're about to launch, and it's called Little Creatures Pale Ale. And he put onto the bar 3 pints, like 3 different recipes of the Little Creatures Pale Ale, and he said, oh, drink them and tell me what you think. So, as you do, I swigged them back. Haven't got a clue what was different about them. This is like 20 odd years ago now. But I gave him the feedback. Yeah, he thanked me, and I went home. Anyways, I like to think that I actually had a little bit of influence on the craft beer across Australia by giving feedback on the different recipes of Little Creatures Pale Ale. So if you like it, that's down to me. And if you don't like it, it's probably because he didn't listen. But anyway, okay, let's have a look. Now, from the website, it says that this has notes of burnt toffee, citrus and stone fruits. Okay, let's have a look and let's have a go. So let me move that there. This one's the cold one. Okay, it's very orange in colour, this one. Now, apparently, Little Creatures Pale Ale is actually bottle conditioned, so there should be a little bit of sediment in the bottle. So when you do Little Creatures Pale, give it a swirl as if it's a German wheat beer. Oh yeah, there we go, look at that, we've got some cloudiness. Well, I never. There we go. It's Little Creatures Pale Ale. Okay, so it's got quite a sparkle to it. Oh, you can see the cloudiness. It's like an orange colour, it's like a burnt amber or an orange. A little bit of sparkle. A little bit of head that's gone down a bit now. Let's try this. Okay, now what does it say it's got? We have, burnt toffee, citrus and stone fruits. I'm getting a bit of citrus. Let's have a go. Well, it's quite tangy, and it's quite dry. I think there's a lot of hops in there as well. Now, it's not one of these ones where they seem to have crammed every hop that they could into the bottle, just because. I don't think it's like that. Oh, it's got a lot of tang. It's got a lot of tang in the background and the aftertaste. It's getting me either side. It's not extra malty. Um, it's a funny one because it's got like a sharpest. It tastes a bit sharp, but it also goes down really smooth as well. It's also a contradiction, that one, but you need to try it yourself to find out. Okay. Do you know? I think I actually really like this. I still I've been drinking this one since it opened 20 years ago, and if I see this in the pub, it's in on draft in a few places, but usually it's in a bottle. I always get this, and if we go for a burger at certain places, it's always available. And this is always one of the first pints that I would have a go of, or the first bottle that I would have a go of. So, oh, it's I'm getting a lot of bitterness coming through right now. So it's got a lot of aftertaste. It's lingering quite a lot. So that means that there's just more to the flavour. When a beer just comes and goes, it's like neither here nor there. It's yeah, some you can forget instantly, but this one is still there. Um, so yeah, so it's. Let me now see if I can go for the stone fruits. Oh no, was it stone fruits? Citrus. I'm gonna say it's more acid than it's got the citrus, but it's slightly acidic citrus, which is not actually a bad thing because I mean the citrus tang, it does come from citric acid, so that is what's coming through to me right now. Um, Stone fruits. I don't know about stone fruits. I don't know about the burnt toffee either. It's not really giving me. It's there's no caramel taste in there for me. Okay, let's keep on going. It's lost all the fizz, but the beer itself still retains a lot of the tang from the first hit on it. So I think that's the overall thing on this one. It's a fruity beer, definitely, but it's not. You can't tie it down, in my opinion, to like a certain sort of a fruit. Even though this is saying it's got like stone fruits, I think it's just like a general. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of like almost lemon in there, or even like a tiny little bit of grapefruit. That sort of an acidic tang to it. Okay, let me see if I can get more of this hoppy aroma. Okay, so this is more a beer to savour than one that you just swig back. If it was like a more boring lager, you might just want to on a hot day just swig it back. Not that this doesn't refresh on a hot day. Yes, it definitely does. It definitely would if you needed a drink after you've been playing football in the park. Yeah, have one of these. Um, but it's got more to it than that. It's got more character. It's got a deeper flavour. There's a lot of. Oh, I'm still getting bitterness on it right now. So the bitterness is obviously coming from a lot of the hops. It's not exceptionally malty, this one. So um, quite a bitter aftertaste. Slightly malty, but a lot of citrus. So slightly acidic, but like I say, that's not a bad thing. That's the way a beer should be. It should be citric acid. You should be getting that coming through. So would I recommend this? Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. It gets 4.5 chainsaws. Does this one? Right, it's not the perfect beer, if it is one, but it's actually it rates really highly, especially when you compare this against other sorts of Australian beers. So if you ever taste any of the mainstream beers, well, unfortunately for you, this is just a level above them, and with Australian prices as well, it's not actually that much more expensive uh, than like the mainstream brands like your VBs and your Emus and your Swan Draft and stuff like that. And if you are only ever used to drinking those sorts of beers, then you need to move up and you need to move on to these sorts of beers, because you will taste the difference, and like the extra dollar that you pay for the bottle, it's worthwhile moving on to one of these ones. So, in conclusion, not as malty as some, quite acidic, quite tangy, quite a good aroma, but just the overall quality of the beer just comes through. So, yeah, thank you. So, thank you for watching.